Dramatic conclusion to this trial. The prosecutor, Joseph E. McGettigan III, standing directly behind Jerry Sandusky in the courtroom, addressed the jury. He said, "There is nothing I can do, there's nothing you can do at this point to restore to the accusers the pieces of their souls that this man," pointing to Jerry Sandusky, "took from them. But what you should do and what you must do is give him the justice he deserves, convict him." Roger Cossack, what did you think of the prosecution's closing argument?
Well, I thought it was very effective. He went down the list, if you will, and went through what all the accusations are, pointed out the testimony of the young boys who made these accusations, and then seemed to dismiss Joseph Amendola's closing argument as something that's just non-believable. Amendola arguing that, in fact, this was a conspiracy of all of these young men and of all of the people involved to go out, the police and everything, to go out and get Jerry Sandusky.
From the beginning, the defense has been the underdog here. Amendola spoke for about 90 minutes in his closing argument. He made the case, as you said, that this was a conspiracy. The accusers, the state police, the prosecutors. How will a jury possibly come to the conclusion that there was a conspiracy involving so many people with so many different motives?
It's very, very difficult. Look, it's a tough road for the defense in this case. What he tries to do is take it piece by piece and say, look at the testimony from the police officers. And he had a recording that showed that the police officers did suggest certain things to the victims in this case, or the alleged victims in this case. But to defend the police officers, this is one of those subjects that's very difficult to get young men to talk about. And so they had to let them know that they weren't in this alone and try and give them confidence to go forward. And I think this is the kind of thing the jury's going to take apart and discuss. Remember, it only takes one to have a problem, and they won't get a conviction.
If you were on this jury, and you mentioned some of the troubling aspects, if you will, of the prosecution's case, what are the other factors that might stand out? If you were on the jury and you were trying to find something that might suggest reasonable doubt here.
Well, there was that problem with the police officers, and they had a tape of the police officer talking to one of the accuser's lawyers, and then they were deciding about what they would tell him, tell the young man who was coming to have an interview, so that they could get him to talk more. And it clearly indicated that they told him about other people and tried to get him to go along with what these other people said, and were successful at that. That would bother me. It would bother me that a lot of these things took place many, many years ago and they weren't reported. But, I just think it's a strong case for the prosecution.
Prosecution closing strongly as well with its final argument. This case is now in the hands of the jury. We will be standing by, awaiting a verdict, however long that takes.